Hello and welcome to Phase 4. This phase is about how the lessons can be organized to practice and learn in different ways based on the principle of differentiated teaching. Before we go through more about what this phase is about, I just want to remind you of the difference between individualization and differentiation. In differentiated teaching, the focus is on the community and participation. This means that even if the students work in different ways and sometimes with different levels of text or materials, it happens in the community, in the class. Everyone works with the same area of knowledge and everyone can contribute to each other's knowledge of the unit. Let me repeat myself and remind you of the basic principle before I go on to what Phase 4 is all about. Say that you are working on a unit about reading novels. In this unit, students can work differentiated by reading, writing, and discussing during each lesson in different stations. A station can offer reading with different scopes and different methods, for example, with the opportunity to listen and read. Another station can be writing in different ways, with or without templates, and with the option to choose format or content based on interests. At the writing stations, students can write in pairs or alone, and they can use a template text to be inspired by. Another way to differentiate is to speak in your text into the computer. In order to make the differentiated teaching work, careful preparation is required. For example, if you know that you have students who struggle in school, you should prepare the activities well. The class needs to understand the purpose of the activity and know how long it should last. Digital timers, speech templates, and ready sentences are great to use in the classroom. Dare try to cancel the lesson if it doesn't work. All activities can cause stress in some students. That shouldn't stop us from trying. Students who are used to the teacher varying the teaching and where the teacher is responsive and creates trusting relationships can experiment more. Show the students that it is important to practice listening to each other, working together and helping each other. If any student shows signs of not being okay in an activity, show them that you are helpful and friendly, but also show them your leadership and interrupt the activity without exposing the student. You should say, I see that something is not working today, so I am canceling this activity. We will try it next time instead. Let's move on to clear transitions. Critical situations is transitions between different activities. When getting students started, a critical transition can be prevented by having students crawl under a table from one activity to another. That is pretty funny. Maybe you can walk from one side of a room to the other side to mark the start of another activity over there. Music can also be used as a marker to signal transitions to another activity. Let's move on to differentiated activities that everyone can do together. The activities that I will now go through are examples of how you can prepare that everyone can participate in regardless of the condition. Of course, the examples are not a recipe, but I try them and I really like them. So first out is 180-second workshop. Divide the class into different groups of 3 to 6 students. Everyone has access to small notes and pencils. The teachers are asking a question or indicates an area of knowledge, and the students have 180 seconds to individually and on different piece of paper write down as many ideas, answers, questions, or suggestions as they can think of. On a signal, The groups lay out their notes on the table and review what they have written. Each group is tasked with selecting the 5 best ideas, answers, questions, or proposals to present to the class. Everyone contributes and everyone helps bring out the most important. First, show them how it is done with the help of some students. Talk about how to show each other suggestions. Differentiate by having some students write proposals in pairs, or you can be the secretary for some students. Follow up by letting the selected ideas or questions become the starting point for your unit work. All right, next one is mingle, pair, reply. Prepare questions for students. The questions may concern metacognitive reflections or a specific topic. Make sure the number of students allows everyone to find a partner. Ask students to mingle around the room, possibly to music. On the signal pair, the students pair up with the person standing closest. The pair give each other a high five. Those who haven't found anyone, they are raising their hands so they can find each other. Ask the question you have prepared and give some time to think. The students talk to each other, then give the correct answer in class. This differentiates in pace, level, and method, as it provides multiple opportunities to understand, listen and think, and figure out the answers. I really love this one. I call it spies, like spioner in Swedish. In group work, you can use part of the time to let spies go to other groups to see how they solve the work and if they have something to teach their own group. Decide in advance what kind of questions might be interesting to ask the spies. For example, how they have planned, how they intend to present their results, how they have distributed the responsibilities within the group, how they do to ensure that the work has good quality, how they do to make everyone involved in the work, or how they find information. Write on the board so that the students clearly see the questions to be asked. It becomes a kind of a game while the students learn to cooperate and how to learn from each other. By having pre-made questions on cards to give the spies is a very good idea. The next one is station codes. Put up notes with names on the stations. The students are going to work in stations here. The station can be named like the activity or, for example, reading friends, the writing hut, poetry, or the math hut. The stations can also have more detailed names such as the outline story, the introduction station, or the argumentative station, and the closing station. The groups can, for example, be called reading out loud group, read more group, read between the lines group, read carefully, or when to read group. Of course, it is good if the teacher controls who is in the different groups, with everyone having the opportunity to change groups to test their wings. Here is the last one. I am very sorry, I have a lot of tips for you, but this one is the last one and I call it the activity box. So cut 10 to 20 pieces of paper and write down an activity on each card point. Also write how long the activity should last on the card and place the cards in a box. Use the box to activate students who are tired of what they are doing, or for students who find no peace in what is going on in the rest of the class. And most students find it a little fun to draw a card and see what they should do next. Here are some tips for activities and time for these students. But here, of course, there are also many opportunities to individualize interest for specific students and to individualize the scope according to the student's ability to focus on a task. Tips that can be on these pieces of paper is, number one, read 10 pages in the book. Or number 2, write poetry with the words pants, ants, and house. I don't know. Number 3, play a math game on the computer. Or number 4, throw away rubbish on the bench. Or number 5, record yourself reading a book. Or number 6, complete your homework about Swedish history.